Hey guys, I'm Lighty, and this this is my show. This is you're already gone. Wow, what a dick. This is my video on going over the basics and of loot filters and how I made mine. You may be thinking, why would you want to filter out loot? Well, it really boils down to the fact that 90% of the things that drop in this endgame are dog shit and should be hidden from the world. I just got a text message. But long story short, you want to hide a lot of things and you want to have a lot of things shown. But basically anything that's shown should be something you're picking up. But the game's constraints of how loot filters work prevent us from having everything hidden or everything shown we'd like to, because just straight out, there aren't enough rules in filters yet to make everything, tip-top shape. The place I like to test my filter is Tane's Laboratory. It's nice because there's a chest right next to the place where you can drop shit. So here's a Harbinger up in the ground. That shows up quite fancy. Here's a whetstone. I just dropped it and it's hidden. You hold Alt to show things that are hidden, and there's different constraints, again, you can put on things to have things shown or prevented. This could be for a few different reasons. As in here, I just dropped one whetstone and it's hidden, but I dropped 5 and they're shown. Because stack size is something that you could differentiate. Meaning, in the heat of battle, I won't pick up one whetstone, but I'll pick up a stack of 5 or more. I'm a simple man. Now let's go over the basics of how a filter works. Your loot filter is located in the options section, and then UI. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a section called List of Loot Filters. There is an option for no loot filter, and that looks like something like this. That's a sad looking Harbinger orb. Again, you wouldn't even notice it. Now we get to the default loot filter, which is Paths 1 they've made for you. It has a noise, it has the effect, it shows in your mini-map, it's brighter, larger, more fancy, looks pretty good. Now let's go to mine, and this is what mine looks like. Again, has a noise, and no beam required, no nothing, because it's just a Harbinger. But let's break down why it looks like why it looks, and then we'll show you that. Now again, you can go to options, and there's an option over here called show folder. If you click that, it brings up your My Games Path of Exile under the document section. Now for me, it's called heist.filter. These are filter files, which is basically just a glorified text document. You could make a filter file by just right-clicking, new, you could do text document, and instead of having it .text, you just label it .filter. If you're wondering how come I can't do that, that's because you don't have extensions turned on. Hit view and hit file name extensions. If this isn't turned on, you can't see extensions and you can't change extensions. So view and then hit file extensions on. Now when you open up this bad boy, it looks like such. Boop. This is what mine looks like, and it changes over time, and you should update your filter with every league, and depending on how you're playing through the game and your skill level and your knowledge of filters, it'll change over time. And also they add different options and tools for us to use filters. Now let's go over Harbinger Orb to start. Control F and Harbinger. That's a Harbinger map. Let's go to Harbinger Orb. So here's what I have written for Harbinger Orb. Anything with a pound sign in front of it will not be counted for the quote-unquote coding of your filter. This is basically like a notation. It's like a little cliff note you can put on saying, if I type in, hashtag or pound sign, and I just type whatever you want, it's just not going to be counted for the text and lines of your filter. Now, filters work in priority order, meaning the things at the top supersede the things at the bottom. So if I have, if I wanted 6 link uniques to be shown, I had to put that above 6 links, because if it's below 6 links, then just a normal 6 link rule will apply. If you're on top, you're in control. Just like in the... Anyway, so the options we have here, first up is a base type. All base type is basically what is in the text of the item. The text being Harbinger Orb. And it has to be spelled exactly as it is spelled, because if it doesn't have the little apostrophe, it doesn't have the capitalization, it's not going to count. You can see here I have the capital H, capital O, little apostrophe, and it's in quotes. When it's in quotations, that means it is doing the exact text between the quotes. Whatever is inside the sandwich is what matters. If I remove the sandwich, it'll pick up things that say Harbinger, it'll pick up things that say Orb, and it'll become a shit show. So basically, if you're going to type it, you're going to put it in quotes. Now, base type can also be added with something called class. Now, class would be stackable currency, because that is what this is. This is a stackable currency. And if I wanted to make this addition, again, class has to be capital, in quotes, stackable currency, both capitals. Control S to save, and hit the refresh button, and item filter loaded successfully. Now, the reason you would do this is only if there was a conflicting message between base types. This is a Harbinger Orb, but what if for some reason there was a unique offhand, I don't know, that was also called Harbinger Orb. That was a unique shield. And if we didn't put the fact that this was a stackable currency class, this would pull both the currency and the unique item. So it's to prevent, intermingling between duplicate named items. Now the font size, again, set font size, each word is capitalized, has to do with the size of the font. This is 45. If I were to make it 10, which I believe is the smallest, it looks like a fucking joke. Barely clickable. It's actually hard to click on 10 because I can spam click in the moment and it's like difficult to click on. Next we have the text color, text border color, text background color, again all capital letters. This is just HTML color code. Just Google HTML color codes. There's literally a website called htmlcolorcodes.com and it has a little slider that you could mess with and to pick whatever color you want. So say we'll pick this and we'll go here. All right, 55, 246, 237. Got it? 50, 246, 237. That'll do. And now we hit save and hit refresh, and that's what changed that colors. It just uses HTML color code. You can do the same thing for any of the any of the listings here, whether it's the text color, the background color, or the font color. Back to the good old white, 255, 255, 255. Control S to save. Hit refresh, back to normal. You tend to want to make things the opposite color of the background of this game. Dark purples, dark reds, dark blues. What is the opposite of that? Bright white and bright red, or bright pink, or bright green. These are not colors common at Path. That's why you should tend to make your expensive or higher tier items colors like this. Next we have the alert sound. Now the alert sound is something else different. That's the sound it's making compared to the normal sound. You can change this. The volume goes from, I believe, 50 to 300. Not sure why that's the scale, but that's fine. And there's different alert sounds, 1 through 10 you could use. PoE alert sounds, and there should come up a SoundCloud file. There it is. Kind of loud when it probably launches. Holy shit. These have all the 10 base alert sounds in the game. 1, 2, well, I guess 9. All the 9 base alert sounds in game. You can mix and match them as you choose, and you could just, play whatever one you want and pick whatever one you want for whatever currency you want. I suggest having things grouped by expensive, medium tier, then like shit tier, and with like garbage tier making no sound whatsoever. This is an example of, expensive tier. Delirium orbs, exalted orbs, annulment orbs, harbinger orbs, awakened orbs, mirror shards, those sort of things. And we can actually spruce this up a little bit if we wanted to. There is still more we can do. This is a lot going on here, but there is more we can do. Now here's 3 more lines of code I'm going to copy paste here, okay? We have disable drop sound true. What this does is it disables the base game's drop sound and supersedes it with our drop sound. Now currency has a base drop sound, and if we replace it, it'll no longer make that initial cha-ching sound, it'll just do the sound we put, which is totally what we want. It might prevent us from just getting, a little sound pollution, if you will. Second, we have map icon to white star. This makes it so there's a map icon on our mini map that is a white star, 2 being the size, white being the color, star being the size of the shape of the icon. You can do square, you can do circle, you can do yellow, you can do green, you can do whatever colors for the most part you want. It's not HTML color code, but there's a base your basic colors. Play effect white is the beam coming off the item. So this is the white beam coming off the item. That is the white effect. So this is what we're doing to basically maximize all the things we could do to make sure when this fucking thing drops, in the middle of our delirious map, there's no way in hell we're gonna miss it, because this to us is important, and that's why we did all this shit in the filter, to make us remember that this is important and I want to pick it up. And that's honestly the basis of the filter. You just apply everything we learned here to every other item in the game, and that's a filter. It is not rocket science. It is just a series of copy pasting, layering again for priority, and just tweaking to your liking, whether it's the size, the noise, the color, whatever you want. But there are other constraints you can put, some interesting ones. An example of that is area level. Area level equal to, so this is greater than or equal to, which is the less than greater than symbols. Area level greater than or equal to 75. All of these divination cards are hidden to me because I deem them as shit. I wrote dead to me div cards. These are bad divination cards, meaning that if I'm in basically a tier, 7+ map, these things are hidden. Now the reason I have a tier 7+ map and not just hidden altogether, being that early in the league, because I play solo Southbound, some of these things might be kind of useful. Example is Lunar Priestess gives you Sire Shards. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind a couple Sire Shard cards early in the league, so, for the most part, I'll pick them up. But after I start getting to yellow maps and red maps, I don't want to see that trash anymore, because I only need 1 Sire Shards, if at all. Now, if you open things with stack decks, you're going to get all the div cards in the world, so that's why I tend to aggressively hide shitty divination cards. Now, you can apply this area level thing to a super, super deep layering of your filter to basically make it so as you're progressing from level 1 all the way to level 100 in Path of Exile, that you have different tiers of drops at different points. An example of this I have in my own filter is all the way at the bottom. I have it so all essences show when I'm basically pre-maps. But once I get to maps, the only essences that show are like screaming, shrieking, and whispering, and then the specialty essences. Because I care about these while leveling. They're basically like an alchemy orb, but past that, I'm not bothering doing the 3-to-1 bullshit. Same thing with gems, same thing with, you know, unidentified rares, 3 links, 4 links. Again, links is a constraint you could do. Linked sockets equal to 4, linked sockets equal to 5, 6. There's a lot of things you could do. The best place to look at where to find all these different options, and there's not a ton, is Pat's actual wiki page. Now, their item filter page is actually a pretty good asset. I use it myself all the time. Now, the average player doesn't even know what the fuck a loot filter is. They just think, oh, I go to Filter Blade and I download one of NeverSync's filters, and you know, that's fine too. You could do that. You could download your favorite streamer's filter. You could download your favorite whatever's filter. That's totally cool. Again, having a lot of shapes and colors is cool and all, but to me it doesn't really make sense for the most part. Because if something's showing in your filter, you should be picking it up. And if you have all this shit in your filter that's bright and glowing, and you're not picking it up, why the fuck is it in your filter? In general, the wiki page does have a lot. Again, under the basic syntax, it tells you what, you know, the options are. It shows you could block things. It shows that, you know, basically the basic terminology. It shows all the basics. It even has all the conditions: drop level, item level, area level, quality, rarity, class, base type, prophecy, the amount of links. So you could go as in-depth or not in-depth as you want. Stack size is a great modifier also. If I'm doing, you know, an I level 80 map, I'm not picking up a singular wisdom scroll, right? But I will pick up 39 wisdom scrolls. So that's a great example of something where stack size can be used in the end game to really save yourself time, but also get you some of that, you know, really great trash currency that you will need eventually, especially in Solo Self-Found. Replicas, identified, corrupted modifiers, how many corrupted modifiers are present. This one's really nice. Let's do it in this section here. So we're going to name this double corrupted. Again, I put the little pound sign, so this is just for my notations. And we're going to show it. And we're going to have corrupted modifiers. The operator should be true. The value is going to be 2. We're just going to copy paste this border color, font size, sound, effect. We'll just use all this. Again, copy pasting and filters is your friend. I personally enjoy this whole process. If you don't, then that, you know, that's fine. We'll do rarity rare because there's cases where white corrupted items drop and it's going to be pretty much useless to have. Now let's see if this thing worked. We just typed our little code up. Let's see if it actually works. So again, hit Control S to save, options, and it didn't. All right, true is not right. So we have to change that. Maybe we don't have to have true. We can just have corrupted modifiers too. I thought it wanted the operator, but I guess not. And yep, loaded successfully. So let's just do an example of when this wasn't loaded successfully. We'll just do no filter here. Must have a double corrupt somewhere. But here's one. A perfect example of what we want to see. Now with no filter, that looks like that. Now let's go to our filter, and now it looks like that. But I'd like to make that cooler looking. Let's make it more thematic towards, you know, it being double corrupted. So let's get border color. Let's get background color. Background, again, capital B. And text color. Now let's see which one we want to pick. All right, we'll do like a darkish red, I guess. Maybe like too dark. So we'll make that the border 140.00. The text will be 140.00. I'll make the background white, which is 255, 255, 255. Now let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's kind of cool looking. You know, I like that better, I guess. It's more distinguishable for sure. Now let's think of the circumstances where double corrupts drop. They're not going to drop on a map with Val ones. They're not going to drop on a map for no reason. They're only going to drop from, like, at the moment, a heist, basically, or a Val side zone. So do I really need the sound? Probably not. I'm not going to miss it because it's a clickable situation. So I'm actually going to remove the alert sound, but I will add in the disable drop sound true. Because I don't want to hear it, because there's no reason why I would ever see this where I'm not next to it. So now it's going to be visually appealing, but I have to, again, have sound pollution. You don't want to filter with 1,000 fucking bing bang booms going off. This way I know I'm going to see it on the ground. Mirrored is interesting as well. You could hide mirror items, but I don't think there's much of a point. And you can specify influences, you can specify fractured or synthesized, or whether it's shaped or not, or the specific map tier. Then you have actions, which is setting the different things, alert sound, disabling them, custom alert sounds. This has to do with you changing your sounds to something specific. So again, custom sounds is a little bit tricky to do, but it's really not that difficult. If you really want to set up a custom sound, first thing to do is get your MP3 or whatever the fuck you want to use as MP3. So go to like a soundboard you like, I guess, for like a loot filter one.
Hi, doggy.
That'll do. Right click, save link as hi doggy to MP3. You gotta place this bad boy actually inside your filter area, so the same area that your path is in, so documents my game's path. Now let's go back to our filter and go back to our corrupted thingy. Type custom alert sound, again all caps, parentheses, and we're gonna be naming it the same thing we named this, which is hi, H-I-D-O-G-G-I-E, doggy, H-I-D-O-G-G-I-E. It might have to be a WAV file. We'll have to double check that in 2 seconds, but save it, see if it works. Have to be a WAV file. It does not. Now, if we drop our jewel, it should. So normal jewel sounds like that. Double corrupted. It's kind of quiet. Let's make it louder. Maybe we have to actually make the sound file itself louder. D-O-G-G-I-E. D-O-G-G-I-E. Oh, .mp3. I forgot the, you always have to add the .mp3. Should be good. Boom. All right. Now let's see how loud this fucking bad boy is. Crank this bitch up.
Hi, doggy.
All right. Well, you could probably hear that.
Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy. Hi, doggy.
You get the gist of it. That's pretty much how it works. Custom alert sound, quotes doggy.mp3. Make sure you have the file itself matching in your filter. That's all there is to it. Shows the map icons, the different shape options. There's actually a pretty good variety too. Different color effects and the different beams. Some examples, example 1, example 2. Then a list of different player who has filters. Again, you know, never syncs, whatever you want to use. You can use other people's. I don't know who the fuck these people are. Or you can be a fucking cool kid edgelord like me and make your own. I hope this has been informative at all. The best way to test your filter is to just go map, and if you see yourself walking around and there's items in the ground that you're just not picking up, but it's not something that's conditional like an incursion item or a delve item where you have to just check it and then go on, it should probably not be in your filter. So maybe remove it. It's good to tweak your filter over time, and the more you play, the more you'll get used to how you like your filter and how you want to mess around with it. At the moment, I have my filter pretty happy with how it is. I see a lot of the things that drop, and I'm pretty excited about like what you picked up, and I don't really miss too much as well. So I suggest making your own filter. If you want to do, you could do it from scratch. If not, you can always download one that never syncs and, you know, tweak through it. Just steal some of his shit if you'd like, or steal some of any of these guys. You can download any one of these guys' filter. You'll get the filter file, like you have my filter file, whatever. Then just customize it to your liking. Use it as a basic framework. It's whatever. Do whatever you want. Have fun. Either way, guys, that's all about filters you really need to know, honestly. Anything more than that's a bit very excessive. This is already too excessive. This took too long.